Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you keep living the same story on repeat? Like your past just won't let go of you, even when you're desperate to move on? What if I told you that what's keeping you stuck isn't just your memories, but the chemicals flowing through your body? Science shows that our bodies can become addicted to stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that sometimes our bodies crave these chemicals so much, even calmness feels weird or boring. We end up living in survival mode, even when nothing dangerous is happening. Alan Watts, the famous philosopher, once said, "You are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago." Those words hold a secret many people never discover. You don't have to keep reliving the past. You can choose a new path. And that's what this video is all about. Today, we're going deep into how to let go. Not in the way most people think, like forgetting or pretending things didn't happen, but in a way that frees your body, your brain, and your energy. This is about creating your energetic glow up, a transformation that isn't just about looking better on the outside but becoming magnetic from the inside out. It's the shift that makes people look at you and say, "Something's different about you, and I can't look away." Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about how the brain doesn't know the difference between something real and something vividly imagined. That means we have the power to rewire who we are, starting right now. Alan Watts adds his wisdom by reminding us that the only thing stopping us from changing is the belief that we can't. And it's not just theories. So many people we know, including stars like Adele, Michael Phelps, Selena Gomez, and Matthew McConaughey, have shared how they broke free from emotional loops, redefined their identities, and stepped into a version of themselves that radiates confidence and calm. Today, you'll hear insights not only from Dr. Joe Dispenza and Alan Watts but also from Eckhart Tolle, Bruce Lipton, Neville Goddard, Esther Hicks, Louise Hay, and Gabby Bernstein. Together, they've shown millions of people how to break free from the past and build a life that feels true and alive. So, let me ask you, who are you when you're no longer tied to your old stories? Who could you become if you let go of what's been weighing you down? Let's dive into the 5 steps to release the past, rewire your mind, and radiate your true self. Because you deserve to live a life that doesn't just look beautiful, but feels beautiful, too. Ever notice how sometimes, even when life seems calm, your body still feels tense, like it's waiting for the other shoe to drop? Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that it's because our bodies can get addicted to stress chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline. It sounds strange, but after years of living in survival mode, your body starts to crave those chemicals, even if they're making you miserable. Calmness can feel almost unnatural because your body thinks stress is normal. Alan Watts once said, "You are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago." Yet many of us keep replaying old stories, not just in our minds, but inside every cell of our bodies. Imagine this, you're living in a house where the pipes bang and the floorboards creak every night. At first, it bothers you. But over time, you get used to the noise and forget that silence is even possible. That's what happens when you live with emotional stress for years. It becomes part of your background noise. Bruce Lipton, a biologist who's studied how thoughts shape our biology, says, "Perception creates chemistry." If your mind keeps replaying old hurts, your body keeps releasing the same stress hormones. And those hormones shape how you feel, how you look, and even how you think. Louise Hay, a pioneer in emotional healing, believed that unspoken feelings can become physical symptoms. She used to say, if we are willing to do the mental work, almost anything can be healed. We've seen this happen to people in the public eye. Adele, the Grammy-winning singer, once lost her voice because of emotional tension she carried inside her body. It wasn't just a random health problem, it was tied to how much stress and emotion she was holding in her throat. Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer, shared that even after winning gold medals, he battled dark feelings and anxiety that made him feel like he was drowning in his own mind. Chrissy Teigen, the model and author, opened up about her struggles with anxiety after having her baby. She said there were days she felt like she couldn't breathe, with her chest tight and her mind racing. Prince Harry has talked about how he kept reliving the trauma of losing his mother, Princess Diana. Even decades later, his body reacted as if the pain had just happened. His heart raced, his stomach clenched, and he felt trapped in a loop he couldn't escape. Dr. Joe Dispenza says that our bodies can't tell the difference between a real event and the memory of that event. So each time we remember a painful moment, our bodies react as if it's happening all over again. Our hearts pound, our muscles tighten, and our brains light up the same way they did the first time. This is why letting go isn't about pretending nothing happened. It's about freeing your body from the chemical trap of reliving old emotions. It's choosing to stop letting the past write your future. Alan Watts believed that holding onto the past is like carrying heavy stones while trying to swim. You can't move forward if you're way down. Letting go means dropping those stones so you can rise to the surface. But how do you do that? Right now, try this simple practice. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath in, and slowly exhale. Do this 3 times. Now, notice your body. Is there tension in your chest? A knot in your stomach? A heaviness in your shoulders? Wherever you feel it, breathe into that spot and silently say to yourself, I release this now. It might feel small, but moments like this begin to retrain your body. Instead of living in survival, you're teaching it what peace feels like again. Remember, letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without reliving. It means setting yourself free. So, let me ask you, what parts of your body are still holding onto the past? And are you ready to set yourself free? Have you ever wondered who you'd be if you weren't carrying the pain from your past? Alan Watts said, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it. But for many people, that plunge feels scary. It's like standing on the edge of a pool, wanting to dive in, but afraid of what might happen once you're underwater. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that our identity is built from our thoughts, emotions, and actions. When we think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, and do the same things every day, we build strong pathways in our brain, like grooves in a record. And just like a record keeps playing the same song, we keep living the same story. Eckhart Tolle, the spiritual teacher, says, observe the thought. You are not the thought. But it's hard to remember that when old beliefs shout louder than our dreams. Neville Goddard believed that imagination is the beginning of creation. He said that if you want to change who you are, you have to imagine yourself already being that person. Not someday, but right now. This might sound deep or even a bit impossible. But so many people we know have done exactly that. Take Selena Gomez, for example. She's spoken publicly about how she felt trapped in a cycle of pain and self-doubt, believing that her past struggles defined who she was. But she started asking herself, who am I without my pain? And little by little, she began building a new identity. Robert Downey Jr. went from battling addiction and being nearly blacklisted in Hollywood to becoming Iron Man and one of the most respected actors today. He didn't just change his career, he changed how he saw himself. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has shared how he battled depression and moments of feeling lost. He said there was a time he felt like he was failing at everything, but he decided to rewrite his story, choosing strength over fear. Keanu Reeves, known for his calm presence, faced unimaginable losses. His best friend passed away, his partner died in an accident, and he suffered other personal tragedies. Yet he keeps reinventing himself, choosing kindness, humility, and a quiet strength as his identity. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that the first step to changing who you are is becoming aware of your thoughts. He says, you can't change your life until you change your thinking. And that means catching those old, automatic thoughts before they spiral into the same old feelings. It's like driving to work on autopilot. You take the same streets every day. You don't even think about it. But what if you wanted to go somewhere new? You'd have to choose a new route, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. When your mind tries to pull you back into old patterns, pause. Notice the thoughts without judging them. Ask yourself, where do I feel this in my body? Whose voice is this? Is it mine, or did I learn it from someone else? Is this thought true right now, or is it a memory from the past? Neville Goddard would say that the moment you can imagine yourself as someone new, and feel it as real, that's when the change begins. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that every time you choose a new thought, you're creating new pathways in your brain. You're literally rewiring your mind. He says it's not just an intellectual process, it's a whole body experience. So here's a simple exercise you can try. When an old thought comes up, don't push it away. Instead, pause and say to yourself, "That's not who I am anymore. That's who I used to be." Then, write down the answer to this question. Who am I without my past? You might be surprised at what comes out. Remember, letting go of your old identity doesn't mean you lose yourself. It means you finally discover the self that's been waiting underneath all along. So, I'll ask you this, if you weren't tied to your old story, who would you choose to become? Sometimes you stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself, what would it feel like to finally become the version of you that's been living in your dreams? Alan Watts said, "Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone." But sometimes, leaving things alone isn't enough. Sometimes we have to actively clear the water. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that your brain doesn't know the difference between something real and something vividly imagined. When you imagine yourself speaking confidently, moving with grace, or even wearing certain clothes, your body starts to believe it's already true. It begins to change its chemistry, matching your thoughts with new feelings. Esther Hicks teaches that your vibration decides what you attract. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about feeling them deep in your body, as if they're already real. Gabby Bernstein reminds us that your energy speaks before you even open your mouth. Think about Matthew McConaughey. Years before he won his Oscar, he used to picture himself standing on stage, holding the statue, giving his speech. He rehearsed that moment over and over in his mind until it felt real. Tom Brady is known for using visualization before every season. He doesn't just see himself winning games, he feels what it would be like to raise the trophy, hear the crowd, and celebrate with his teammates. Shonda Rhimes, the creator of hit shows like Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, has talked about how she started acting like the powerful woman she wanted to become, long before anyone knew her name. She said, "I started living as if I was already her." Jay Shetty, the former monk-turned-best-selling author, shares how he imagined his future self every day, picturing himself speaking on big stages, writing books, and helping people. He says the details in your vision matter. The more real it feels, the faster it becomes your reality. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that these acts of visualization aren't just mental games. They create new pathways in your brain and change your body's chemistry. It's how we shift from being stuck in the past to living in the energy of our future. But here's the thing, a glow-up isn't just about makeup, hair, or new clothes. Science shows that reducing stress hormones like cortisol can literally change how we look. Lower cortisol means clearer skin, brighter eyes, and a more relaxed expression. Your energy becomes magnetic, and people can sense it without knowing why. Alan Watts believed that we're constantly shaping who we are through our attention and awareness. He said, "The meaning of life is just to be alive." To be truly alive means to live from the energy of who we want to become, not just waiting for life to give us permission. So, how do you start embodying your future self right now? First, pick a piece of clothing, jewelry, or even a color that makes you feel powerful. Wear it, even if you're just staying home. When you see yourself wearing it, your brain starts associating that image with confidence and success. Second, spend 2 minutes each morning visualizing your future self. Close your eyes. Picture how you would walk, talk, smile, and feel. See yourself doing the things you dream about. Imagine conversations, victories, laughter. Let your body feel the emotions as if it's happening right now. Dr. Joe Dispenza says, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. The more you focus on the future you want, the less power your old story has over you. And remember, this isn't pretending. It's training your body and mind to recognize a new reality. Neville Goddard would say that you're planting seeds. And the more you water those seeds, with thoughts, emotions, and small daily actions, the sooner they grow into the life you want. So let me ask you, how would you show up today if you already were the person you dream of becoming? Your glow-up doesn't start with a new wardrobe or a new hairstyle. It starts the moment you decide to stop living in your past and begin living as your future self. Alan Watts once said, "The meaning of life is just to be alive." Those words might sound simple, but they carry a deep truth. You don't have to keep living the same old story. You're allowed to wake up each day and become someone new. Dr. Joe Dispenza reminds us that to create a new reality, we have to become a new version of ourselves. That doesn't mean you have to change who you truly are. It means stripping away all the old beliefs, pain, and habits that have been hiding the real you. All through your life, you've been shaped by experiences, some joyful, some painful. But the past doesn't have to keep writing your future. You have the power to let go of old emotions stored in your body, to rewire your brain, and to shift your energy into a vibration that matches the life you want. When you choose to release the past, you're not erasing your memories. You're choosing not to let those memories run your life anymore. You're choosing freedom. You're choosing peace. And when you start imagining your future self, not as some faraway dream but as someone you're becoming right now, that's when your glow-up begins. Not just on the outside, but deep inside your mind, your body, and your spirit. Look at the stories we've shared. Adele, who found her voice again. Michael Phelps, who rose above the weight of anxiety. Selena Gomez, who questioned who she was beyond her pain. Robert Downey Jr., who became more than his past mistakes. Dwayne Johnson and Keanu Reeves, who turned struggles into purpose. Matthew McConaughey, Tom Brady, Shonda Rhimes, Jay Shetty, they all remind us that change is possible for anyone. Alan Watts said, "You are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago." That's one of the most powerful truths there is. You don't have to wait for the perfect day, the perfect job, or the perfect relationship to feel free and alive. You can begin right here, right now. So let me ask you this, who do you want to be 5 minutes from now? Because the decision you make in this moment can start rewriting the story of your life. If these words resonated with you, share this video with someone you care about. And if you'd like to keep exploring how to transform your energy, your mindset, and your future, hit the like button and subscribe. Your journey doesn't end here, it's only just beginning. Thank you for spending this time here. May you keep glowing from the inside out. Because true beauty, true power, and true love don't come from outside of you. They shine from the light you carry within.